What I'm really looking forward to is challenging myself to be able to confine the ideas that I have into just a couple days. So my name is Tony Auger. I am the chief coffee roaster over at Goshen Coffee, and we're out in Edwardsville, Illinois. It's just outside St. Louis.
That's awesome. Chief Coffee Officer. Can't
Yeah.
say I've heard that job title thrown out a lot before, but could you let me know what that is? And
Yeah, definitely. So it's really anything that pertains to coffee. So from sourcing coffee to developing roast profiles, sample roasting, making sure everything's bagged. Pretty much, it's like a COO, but just a funnier title, you know?
I love it. Yeah. And how long have you been roasting coffee?
For myself, I've been roasting around 8 years, but I'm also really bad with time, so I'm not sure. I started off as a coffee roaster after I was a barista, but then after a while, like once I got to the point of trying to learn more about green coffee, I moved into like the import-export side of the industry, and was there for about 3 years before taking a job with Goshen, kind of bringing all that knowledge together.
Yeah, I was checking out your website. Really cool offerings from all over the world. Is that like you normally do like origin trips, develop relationships with producers and things like that?
Yeah, with my last job, I was very much that's what I was doing. So working with a team that was already on the ground in some Latin American countries, kind of like using them as the resource to develop and make relationships. And it's been really great being able to take those relationships kind of to Goshen and understand how the export side of the industry works. So really for me, it's very important to develop relationships, but I would even argue like really with people that are boots on the ground at origin, because they're going to speak the language and know the customs and all those type of things that I will never be able to understand. You know what I mean? So working directly through them to me is far more important than having an actual one-on-one relationship with a coffee producer.
Nice. As chief coffee officer, sounds like you're leading the team. How many roasters are at Goshen?
So we're actually a pretty small team. So right now it's just me and one other person roasting. Really, the main reason behind that is we're opting for a different approach when it comes to what a coffee roaster actually is, a person coffee roaster. Historically, it was somebody who held a lot of information in their brain and was able to make decisions on the fly. But the more I've thought about it, I want it to be more of a collective decision, right? And so for us, one big investment that we wanted to make was bringing in a Loring roaster, because it has amazing ability for replicating roast after roast. And so what I think is more important for my team is to evaluate the roast, right? And so we can talk together and discuss like, hey, maybe we should do this with the Maillard reaction. Maybe we should shorten our development time ratio. And then once we come to a decision, allowing the machine to replicate that decision. So it's much more, we view a coffee roaster as someone who's just in production, but everyone in production's involved in that actual one-on-one development.
Yeah, no, that's a really amazing approach, because I'm always talking to my team about consistencies and and the ability to do those profiles and always nail down consistency in your roasts are really important. And speaking of roasts, your path to the competition, did you do prelims or did you go straight to qualifiers?
No, I didn't. Just the qualifiers.
And you've competed before in roasting or other competitions?
Yeah. when I was much more young and bigger. I did a lot more competitions, but now I have 4 kids, and so I haven't been in the competition world for maybe 5-ish so years. But I was able to do a good amount of Brewers Cup. I went to nationals with Brewers Cup a few times. I've done cup tasters a few times, but I never did the roasting competition. I had been involved with judging the roasting competition before, and for me, like, that was actually way more invaluable to really kind of understand and taste like how other people can alter coffee and in which ways.
Oh, that's cool. So what made you decide to compete this year?
Yeah, I think a little bit of I don't know, maybe I like punishment too much. Because I don't know why I decided to. It was really on a whim. I saw an email go out saying that there was 1 spot left, and I was like, 1 spot left? Of course I'll do it. But yeah, then I don't know. I also really want to get Goshen's name out there. The company has been around for 20 years now, but not a lot of people have heard of them. And so really, like, I want people to know and understand the quality that Goshen's trying to bring to the table now. And so that was like a really big thing as well, just trying to get our name out.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, and competition's a great vehicle for that. Yeah. What are you looking most forward to in competing in Portland?
What I'm really looking forward to is challenging myself to be able to confine the ideas that I have into just a couple days. So, like, I was able to really go down the rabbit hole with my roast approach when I had, a week to do it or 2 weeks to do it. Lots of trial and error, and being able to, go so far to look at what each screen size made the coffee taste like, And so I'm really interested to see what happens when I don't have time. And I think I don't know, high school me would say I work well under pressure, but we'll see if I still can with a quick due date.
You mentioned Loring, I think, earlier.
Yeah.
And I think, is it Stronghold again this year for the roasting competition?
Is, yep. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure if you had it, like, that's another element to it, is
for
having
sure.
experience on that kind of equipment.
Definitely I'm trying to learn more about that machine. We got like a really quick demo at qualifiers, and it for sure is probably going to be the most unique machine I've roasted on when it comes to different heat variables, and I'm going to try to figure out a way to roast on it at least once before competition.
Right on.
Yeah.
I know it's really interesting, especially seeing it for my first time last year in Boston. Okay. Yeah, definitely didn't see a roasting machine like that before.
Right.
Yeah. I did check the website, and I love your website with your bio about you're also a musician, from what I hear.
Yeah.
Gather. So, and it seems like I've been interviewing a few other of the qualifiers from that came out of Baltimore. Seems like we have a few musicians this year in this group. Do you still perform, doing things like that?
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely another one of those like younger me versions of, not having to worry about money and kids. We got to do some fun things. We travel a lot with it.
Cool.
But yeah, now it's gotten to the point where it's really like just a way to another way to like express myself. So I try to at least always be in a band, even like the one I'm in now. It's really more of a studio project than anything else. But it's cool because we all have kids, and whenever we find the time to kind of hang out with each other and make new music, when the stars align, don't have to push too hard anymore.
Yeah. No, I really like learning about, everyone's background. And yeah, I was like, oh, cool. Tony's a musician as well.